Hello and welcome to DevFest 2020. I'm Jason Titus, VP of Engineering at Google, joining you from my home in California. Each year, we at Google truly feel the anticipation for DevFest. It's a one-of-a-kind series of developer conferences, and we're glad you can join us and the local developers within your community. Your local DevFest event this weekend is one of hundreds taking place all around the world right at this moment. And what makes DevFest truly unique is that it's run by volunteer community organizers on a mission to help other local developers grow and share a passion for Google technologies. Now, 2020 has been a year of radical change for people across the globe. But when difficult times came about, developers within this community came together online to plan a virtual DevFest where each local chapter could participate, helping each other teach and learn when we need to connect the most. And these connections can be so important. I can remember the first developer conferences I went to, where I met people who were already doing the kinds of things I dreamed of doing. They had started companies, built products, and I got to hear the stories of what had worked and what had gone wrong. And we hope that all of you will get to have similar experiences at DevFest this year. At Google, we've always believed that we are only successful when all of our users are successful. While Google and its products may plant a seed, it's developers like yourself who make the seeds grow and thrive. This community of developers has shown us firsthand how you're using technology to help each other during times of need. Let me introduce you to my teammate David to share with you some great examples. Welcome, David.
Hi, Jason. Thank you. And welcome everybody to this year's DevFest season. I'm David McLaughlin, Director of Developer Ecosystems at Google. So I've been with DevFest since the very first year in 2010, when I was able to join a large percentage of them. Back then, they were a series of targeted events in just a handful of countries. In the years since then, we've had massive growth to countries all over the world. While I really do miss being able to join many of you in person this year, I'm happy to be able to continue this celebration of developers and tech in a new virtual format and bring people together to learn and to share what we're all building. Over the years, it's been great to see the apps and the solutions the broader community has built with the support of their local GDG chapters. We now have thousands and thousands of developers who are working to address real-world problems in their local communities. Particularly during the challenging times of COVID, I'm impressed by how much your work has made people's lives better. There's a few recent examples that truly stand out to me. Community developers from GDG West Sweden recently worked with the Swedish government to create Hack the Crisis, an event focused on designing, testing, and executing ideas in response to recent challenges. One of the finalists, named Remote and Gigs, helped modernize the Swedish government's employment website to match job seekers with remote work. Nearby in Romania, GDG groups organized a hackathon, gathering 270 different mentors and students from across 8 different countries. The hackathon brought together developers to save lives, to save communities, and to save businesses. Some of the winners included an online platform that connected volunteers with nonprofits across the region, a system to help doctors work with each other and to ease online consultations, and a personal assistant for health and nutrition tracking. Another cool app that they developed was Risk Alert, an app that alerts emergency rooms that a patient with a very rare disease is about to arrive so that the hospital can prepare for any special needs. In Asia, GDG Tainan initiated the Mask Inventory Map at the start of COVID-19, which crowdsources mask inventory from local store data, combining it with the Google Maps API. The project was so popular that it caught the attention of Taiwan's government, inspiring them to publish public data APIs on mask inventory, managed by the government. Taiwan's digital minister has since encouraged the GDG Tainan chapter to create more than 100 different apps to help the local community. In India, GDG Cloud Pune used machine learning with TensorFlow and GCP to help their community with an app that remotely analyzes dental health and helps patients book at-home dental services. They've had over 300 trained images so far, and the developer community is working with local universities to gather more than 50,000 dental images to improve the application. In the Middle East, the region's largest International Women's Day event was held in April in Turkey by multiple GDG groups working together. They had over 2,500 attendees to the event, which included a raffle for online courses and talks in artificial intelligence and data mining. The event helped women across the community and across the region learn and apply their skills. And of course, here in the United States, the GDG Memphis chapter has joined GiveCamp, where software developers in the area donate their skills for nonprofits, as well as helping kids learn to code on the weekends. These are just a small sample of the ways that Google Developer Group chapters and communities like yours all over the world are learning together and giving back what they've learned to really help people's lives everywhere be better. I encourage all of you to continue, be in community with your fellow developers. Think about how can you use the skills and the tech that you're learning this weekend at DevFests, as well as the networks and the communities that you form, the new friends that you make. How do you combine all of these to make a difference in your own area? Now let's take a look at a really inspiring story from Uganda. It shows how a community member started learning about machine learning and ended up building a really nifty app using TensorFlow that detects diseases in plants and helps farmers reduce crop devastation. Take a look.
Growing up in the city, I never expected to work in agriculture. But when fall armyworm attacked, it affected us all. Since its arrival in 2016, this crop pest has caused massive devastation. I've met farmers who have lost everything.
Tubadde tukozesako ddagala okulaba nti akako kulya ki kasooli naye akantu ako tekayinza kumalawo obulwadde obwo ssebo.
So I wanted to use my skills as a software developer to help. At a Google Study Jam, we taught ourselves TensorFlow. We started by building an Android app on top of an open source API. The app allows farmers to spot infestations early, far beyond the capability of human eyes, and suggest an effective treatment. When I was younger, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but then I discovered app development, and I was excited to show people something they never thought possible. Machine learning gives us the advantage against fall armyworm, ultimately saving harvests and reducing pesticides.
Kunkyusizaamu kubanga taata oba jjajja tiyalina ennyumba y'ebbaati. N'ebbaati nazimba ennyumba yange nga tetoonya. Tulina essuubi ne tufuna embeera ennungi mu kulima.
We are just getting started, and there are so many other sectors like health and education that machine learning could really improve. Farming is a crucial aspect of life in Uganda, and I feel proud I'm part of a team driving to ensure our culture can continue.
Earlier, you saw a beautiful inspirational video about how machine learning and Android were used to create an app to detect crop diseases. So, for DevFest, I wanted to get together a few of my friends from Google and beyond to show you how you could get started in building something just like that from scratch in a few minutes. We'll build an Android app and a web app. So to get started with Android, let's see what Chet can teach us.
I want to create an app that's able to recognize information about plants. It's going to need camera functionality as well as machine learning inference. Let's see what that looks like in code. The app is written in Kotlin and uses Camera X to take the pictures and MLKit for on-device machine learning analysis. The core functionality is in Take Photo, where we take a picture, analyze it, and display the results. First, we call Take Picture on a Camera X image capture object that was created earlier. One of the parameters is a callback object which has this onCapture success function. We get the received image into the format we need for MLKit, then we create an image labeler object and process the image. When this succeeds, we receive a collection of image labels which we turn into text strings and display a toast with the results. Let's see what the demo looks like. So we'll take a picture and it says, I see an insect and a plant. So that was pretty easy, rigging up Camera X and MLKit to detect arbitrary objects in the camera view. But the results were pretty generic because the dataset didn't have enough information about our domain. So let's dig a little deeper.
Okay, let's go deeper. Now we need a model for something very specific: detecting diseases in bean plants instead of cassava. Let's explore how to build it. On this guide, we'll use some of the great TensorFlow tooling available. Let's start with Colab. You can understand Colab as a cloud-hosted development tool. We will do all our coding on it, and you will not need to install anything on your machine. Let's start with a new notebook. Let's just turn the title to beans. We will need to install some packages that we are going to use later. These packages are not installed on your machine. They are on a cloud machine that was created for your Colab. Nice, it finished installing the packages. Let's download the data and do some visualization to understand how our data is separated. Perfect. We download the data. Let's take a look on some of the images so we can have a better understanding of what we are doing here. Here they are. These are some of the images that will be used for training our model later. Now we have the data. We need to create a model. We are not going to create one from scratch. We are going to use a technique called transfer learning. TensorFlow Hub is a repository for TensorFlow models. You can find all kinds of models here. Let's start with this one. Let's go back to our Colab. Let's define a model handle. Nice. Now we have the data and the base model. How can we do transfer learning? To do that, we are going to use one of the tooling that I mentioned before called Model Maker. Model Maker makes your life way easier when you need to do transfer learning. Let's create the spec for our base model. Let's create our training variables here using the dataset beans that we've just seen. And now we are going to put everything together with Model Maker by defining a model with the training data and the spec that we got from TensorFlow Hub. This will take a couple of minutes. It finished training, and as you can see here, our accuracy is at 87%. Of course, let's evaluate the model with some data it didn't see yet and see how good it is. Nice, 95%.
The TensorFlow Lite model Gus just created contains all the metadata Android Studio needs to recognize it and automatically build classes for it. To get started, you can update your build.gradle file to include the following TensorFlow Lite dependencies. Then, you'll want to import your generated TF-Lite file into the ML folder of your project. Let's check out the details of our imported model. From here, we can see an example of how to use the model in our app. Let's move over to the main activity class to take advantage of it. Inside of our image capture callback, here on line number 78, we create an instance of our model. Next, we use it to process the captured image here on line number 84. And finally, here on lines 92 through 98, we display the results of consuming the output inside of a toast message. Let's run our app. Now, instead of telling us it's looking at a leaf or a plant, it can actually tell us if it's looking at a bean leaf and give a diagnosis. Sweet.
So this concept works, but it's very much a raw demo. What if we want to make this a more successful app? Well, we'd probably need to add services like authentication so our users can sign in, analytics and A/B testing so we can find out how our users are really interacting with our app, some crash reporting or performance monitoring, and an easy way to save our users' data to the cloud. Luckily, that's where Firebase comes in. Now, the new and improved Firebase plugin in Android Studio makes this simple. I'll start by adding some analytics so I can find out exactly how our users are interacting with our app. And the plugin does most of the work to get the library integrated into my project. Now that I've done that, well, we can get an instance of the library up here, and then we can log what kind of results we're getting from MLKit. And then once we've done that, there's a lot of ways to get at this data. It'll start showing up here in the Firebase dashboard, but I find one really fun way of viewing this data is to use Stream View, which kind of gives you a real-timey sample of what kinds of analytics results we're seeing. Looks like I've already recorded several of these select content events, and I can dig into these event properties and see what kinds of results our users are getting, and I could start using that information to maybe refine my MLKit model or A/B test different alternatives. Firebase helps you build better apps, and analytics is just the tip of the proverbial iceberg. Maybe we could let our users upload their own pictures and store them in the cloud using cloud storage for Firebase. There's so many possibilities.
This is a sample app, but if we were to productize this, it's important to keep in mind how our AI design decisions impact our users. For instance, we need to consider if and/or how it makes sense to display confidence intervals to help your users interpret the ML model output. Or say how you design the onboarding experience sets user expectations for the capabilities and limitations of your ML-based app, which is vital to app adoption and engagement. For more guidance on AI design decisions, check out the People Plus AI Guidebook at pair.withgoogle.com/guidebook. This use case focuses on plant diseases, but for other use cases where our ML-based predictions intersect with people or communities, we absolutely need to think about responsible AI themes like privacy and fairness, which you can learn more about at tensorflow.org/resources/responsible-AI.
And don't forget about the web. I've built a PWA that can be installed across all your users' platforms. It combines the web camera with TensorFlow.js, and by integrating machine learning, we can make an amazing experience that runs across all browsers. Now let's take a look. We have our standard project layout with a HTML file, a manifest, and a service worker to make it a PWA. We have some styles to make it look good, and our data folder that contains our TensorFlow configuration and trained model that we're going to use in the app. Now to the heart of the project. Let's go back to the HTML file and see what's happening. We're also loading a webcam object. This is just a class that wraps some boilerplate logic to make it easier to pass camera data from getUserMedia to TensorFlow. And now let's dive into our app logic in index.js. So I'm just going to use Chrome and the debugger here. And this is only so you can kind of see how easy it is to integrate machine learning into your application. So let's get started by clicking the classify button and get the machine learning gears into action. And immediately we break into the TensorFlow tidy function. This is just there to help you kind of clean up any of the memory that TensorFlow uses whilst it makes a prediction. We get our image from the web camera, and then we pass our image back into the machine learning algorithm to make it a prediction. Then once we've got a prediction, we access the data, and then we can use that data to update the user interface kind of based on any application logic that we want. And that's pretty much it.
Great. So now you have the platform for building a real app. With the tooling from Android Studio, the APIs from CameraX, Jetpack, MLKit, Colab, TensorFlow, Firebase, Chrome, and Google Cloud, you have a lot of things that just work better together. This isn't a finished project by any means, just a proof of concept for how a minimum viable product with a roadmap to completion can be put together using Google's developer tools and APIs.
You might also want to open source this project too, so developers can suggest improvements, optimizations, and even additional features by filing an issue or sending a pull request. It's a great way to get your hard work in front of even more people. We'd love to help you with this, and you can learn more about the process at opensource.guide/startingaproject. Indeed, we've already open sourced the bean disease sample we discussed in this video, so you can have a great place to start.
Thanks, Pooja. And as you mentioned, open sourcing a project is a great way to make it grow and inspire people to adopt and extend it. If you want to learn more about what you've seen in this video, please visit us at developers.google.com.
Hi, developers. My name is Annie Jean-Baptiste, and I'm the head of product inclusion at Google. The demo you just saw shows how Google's products can come together to create an amazing app. But what about product inclusion? You may be wondering, well, what is product inclusion and why is it important? At Google, we believe that giving power to new voices is the core of innovation. When we bring an inclusive lens to the product design process, we amplify underrepresented voices and allow all users to feel seen and validated in the moments that matter for them. We look beyond ourselves and seek out diverse voices to shape the products that we build. We also believe that we have a responsibility not to disappoint our users, no matter who they are, what they look like, how much money they make, who they love, how old they are, or anything that makes them them. And when we make difference the new normal, we will usher in new opportunities to grow our business by earning the love of all of our users. So whether you're 1 or 105 years old, live in a city or a remote village, on Wi-Fi or cellular service, Google is there for you to make sure you have the answers you need when you need them. Product inclusion is exactly what it sounds like. bringing an inclusive lens throughout the entire product design process to create more inclusive products for our users. And so when you're developing your own apps, I challenge you to incorporate the principles of product inclusion into the design process, because we believe that you can do well and do good by being intentional about including underrepresented voices at key points in the product design process. Remember, those closest to the problem are also closest to the solution. You can learn more about product inclusion at Google by visiting accelerate.withgoogle.com. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jen Cole, and I'm the Global Developer Communities Program Manager at Google. Now it's time to meet and hear from your local developers. So, what can you expect next from your local DevFest? We'll have technical talks, breakout sessions, networking opportunities, and more. These sessions will cover a variety of technologies such as Android, Google Cloud Platform, machine learning with TensorFlow, web, Firebase, Google Assistant, and Flutter, with speakers from Google, women tech makers, Google developer experts, and your local community. Be sure to claim your badge for participating in DevFest 2020 by going to google.dev/DevFest2020. You can earn even more badges by mastering different Google technologies available on developers.google.com/learn. As a reminder, one of the most important parts of DevFest is providing an inclusive and harassment-free experience for everyone. As an active participant of DevFest, today, we can all agree to treat everyone with respect and to speak up if we see or experience harassment of any kind. Together, we can create an environment that is welcoming and inclusive to everyone with us here today. Follow @GDG on Twitter for highlights from DevFest around the world, and try out the DevFest AR filter and avatar. Share what you're learning or your favorite part about the event on social media with #DevFest. And lastly, don't forget community is all about getting to know one another. Use the virtual breakout rooms and chat feature to connect with other developers near you with shared interests. We hope you enjoyed DevFest 2020.
Good morning and welcome everyone to DevFest Romania 2020. This year has been fun for everyone, with incredible challenges for all of us, both on the personal side and the professional one. We've come a long way so far, and the journey is not over yet. Technology has had a central role in everything that's happened this year, from helping all of us keep in touch with the loved ones to allowing businesses to keep going and go through a difficult period. And this is all due to the amazing developers with a pure passion for building great things. Just like all of you that have gathered here today and have chosen to spend the Saturday with us. As you've already seen in the last 30 minutes, amazing and inspiring projects have been completed this year so far, and many more are being worked on. And through DevFest Romania 2020, we're hoping to help you get inspired and work on such projects yourself. DevFest Romania 2020 is all about you, the developers with a passion for technology. We hope that through the amazing content that our speakers have prepared for you today, you'll get inspired, learn, and connect with like-minded people in a world where physical distance must be kept. We definitely must find a way to connect, at least digitally for now. Let's talk for a second about the structure of today. We have 22 speakers. We have 17 sessions and amazing content. This is what's coming today. But before we go to the agenda, I would like to spend a few seconds thanking the amazing team that has made DevFest Romania today become a reality. They have put a lot of passion and work into this event to bring this great content to you. And I'm fully thankful to the entire team. Also, I would like to thank the entire to all the speakers that have prepared great content for all of us. They have spent time from themselves to prepare everything for us. Moving on to a few of the technical details. Today, as I mentioned, it's a special year. So we are in an online digital world, and this is an online conference. As you can see, probably you've explored already so far, we're using a conference platform that comes with all the features required for a good experience. We have split the sessions today in 2 tracks. We'll have a mobile technologies track and the cloud technologies track. And we'll have sessions that are typically 45 minutes long. When the time comes, you need to join the particular session. So if you're in a session now, when that session finishes, you should just go out to the back to the main lobby and then go back to the session that you're interested in. No worries, there's going to be a few minutes in between the sessions. The sessions will not start at the sharp time. They will start 5 minutes delayed compared to the scheduled time, just for you to have a couple of minutes to switch between the sessions. Furthermore, we encourage everyone to network, connect, and discuss with the others. That's why you'll see we have a couple of networking rooms. So feel free to use them at any time during the day if you want to chat about the topic, or if you want to invite a speaker for a follow-up discussion based on their talk. Also, in the attendees section on the right side of the platform, you'll be able to see a chat section, and you are able to chat with a person directly via the direct messages. You're also able to chat with others, like with the entire session on the session tab, and there's also the general tab, which is for messages that are conference-wide. We really hope that you'll enjoy the day and you'll make great use of all the content we've prepared for you. And I'm going to invite my fellow organizer, Bogdan, to walk us a bit through the agenda and all the talks that we have prepared today.
Hey guys, so thanks a lot for joining us today. We have a jam-packed day, so let's get right to it. Like Cosmin said, we have 2 tracks in parallel, one with mobile and the other one with cloud. And actually a bonus for today, we actually have a 3rd track specialized on mobile, on machine learning and AI. We're covering a total of 4 topics today. Starting on the mobile track, we will Kotlin and multi-platform. And Enrique will tell us all about how coroutines work on the JVM. Following that, we'll look into Flutter, and Mohamed will tell us how Flutter actually works under the hood. Continuing on with Kotlin, John will teach us how we can use declarative UIs such as Jetpack Compose or Swift UI along with Kotlin multi-platform to build multi-platform apps. Sticking on with Kotlin, Danny will teach us how we can totally ditch Java and take our Kotlin to the next level. Finally, Magda will teach us how we can write clean and nice code with Kotlin. Did you think we would completely forget about our favorite platform, Android? Well, think again, because we have 3 session plans for Android today, starting with Radu from Softvision, and he will look into how we can build our own Jetpack library framework. Following that, we have Manuel from Google, which will teach us how we can use Jetpack Compose and integrate it into our existing apps. Last but not least, I have my dearest friend Cosmin, which will teach us all the new tips and tricks that we learned the past year in order to improve our Android game. Switching on to the web and cloud track, we have a few talks on the cloud platform, and Josh will take us to the combination of Kotlin and how we can use it along with Spring Boot. On the front-end web, Phil will check if we can use and if it's a good idea to use JavaScript inside our emails. And Alejandro will teach us all about how we can take the journey to the dev to DevOps. If we have some Kubernetes fans among us, you'll be glad to know we have four sessions planned for you today. Martin will look into serverless orchestration and automation with Google Cloud Platform workflows, while Rafal will teach us all about high availability from multi-instance to hybrid cloud. Then Anna will look into stability anti-patterns in cloud-native applications, followed by Bogdan, which will teach us all the lessons he learned about building microservices and making them with reactive systems. Last but not least, we have the machine learning topic, and we have a session planned for that from Bob. And we will look into semantic search on Google Cloud Platform with the Weaviate vector search engine. And like I said, we have a bonus track for today. We will have 5 startups from the BAI incubator for machine learning and AI. And those are Eva AI from Estonia. They plan to increase global access to mental health by creating an AI engine that enables psychiatric professionals to reproduce their personalities as AI assistants. We then have Emoface from France. They have a mobile app that trains social skills to people with autism by interacting with AI-driven emotional avatars. From Russia, we have Lienda. It's an AI-enhanced software that helps quality experts detect hidden errors in production processes. And last but not least, we have 2 of our compadres from Romania, Zoom Report. It's a location intelligence web platform that helps users gain insights on local social demographics. And Factide, which has an AI platform that extracts knowledge from raw data across both the dark and clear web. That's about it for today. We hope you'll enjoy all our sessions and all the talks and the speakers that they presented. And to dive right in, we will continue with a panel on the cloud platform and see what are all the good, nice bits and pieces that we have learned the past year in cloud. And we will have my friend Victor Grădinescu hosting that panel coming right up. Victor, take it away.
Thank you, Bogdan. Hi, guys. Morning. Bună dimineața. Hope you are filled with energy. And I hope you had a lot of fun with the cool little product that the Google team has built in the video that was previously shown. I want us to review a little bit what has happened in the Google Cloud ecosystem recently. And for that, I invited Martin Kodok from Târgu Mureș to help me with this introduction on, what has happened in the last year or so with Google. Martin, can you please begin by telling us a little bit about what you do, how this year was for you, technically, let's say?
Hi, Victor. Nice to be here at the annual GDG DevFest of Romania. This is Epson event, which I am very, very enjoying. And let's dive deep into the keynote. But before the keynote, as you have asked, this year I have coded from my home chair, home office, either using just the bare foot or even being in only sockets when the autumn arrived. And mostly I have enjoyed my time to actually walk around the building and doing some hobby projects like exploring new cloud functionality and exploring the machine learning features which have been introduced this year. So I'm trying to bring the cloud to you, and I set up some key items that actually sum what happened this year in the cloud announcements. So if you want to do the next on air in review, we are going to see that Google leaders at their conferences talked about transforming the business and becoming a data company and making artificial intelligence available to everyone. And by everyone, I mean even junior developers, practitioners that are only average developers, to become an AI and machine learning implementers. Also, 2020 was a different year, so they have worked on improving the lives and circumstances of people around the world in ways never before possible. I have been seeing enormous features added to all the presenter platforms and video conferences all around the world. And if we talk about the cloud this year was mostly about, first, the AI, the artificial intelligence and machine learning. This year, Google Cloud Platform announced real-time AI solutions like anomaly detection, pattern recognition, predictive forecasting. These are also available as custom implementers on TensorFlow. On AI platform, you can run your own solution, but available also in BigQuery, for example, for SQL practitioners. Next, if you want to have a rich experience to personalize product recommendation, now the Google Cloud Platform offers a recommendation AI platform. And Media Translation API finally arrived to Google Cloud, which has the amazing ability to actually work on the speech translation, on streaming audio, and all this in real time. Landing Dock AI and Contact Center AI are also specialized solutions powered by Document AI and providing assistance for either mortgage industry or for the contact center, as we know for them. So amazing year about the AI, but not just AI was in this year. There have been announcements also to virtual machines. And here we have confidential VMs, which are a breakthrough technology that allow us to encrypt all of our sensitive data in the cloud while it's being processed. This is based on the ASILO framework and actually brings us to the protection against advanced threats and builds with shielded VMs offer against rootkit and bootkits, and helps us to ensure the integrity of the operating system. This is great for sensitive businesses like governments and health industry, also financial and banks. If we go further, serverless. This is an amazing topic that people have touched in the last couple of years, but this year, some new features were added to Cloud Run, the primary product that is having a super traction this year. What kind of new features we have at Cloud Run? We have minimum idle instances just launched last week, and this actually makes cold starts went away. You no longer have cold starts. You can even allocate 4 CPUs and 4 GB memory to your payload, and you can run requests up to 60 minutes, which is awesome to do intensive operation or longer duration. For those who actually love gRPC streaming, the platform enables support for server-side streaming, which is awesome to be available as a serverless product. None, or only a few projects have actually support server-side streaming out of the box without sysadmin and heavy setup on the background. Natively, VPC and load balancing are features of the cloud where you can actually work with your other components inside your network and be able to use load balancing to limit DDoS and Cloud Armor and routing possibilities for all your applications. If you're going further, serverless palette and product on GCP has a new product, Cloud Workflows. It's a serverless orchestration and automation platform where you are able to build steps one by one. And later today in my presentation about this particular topic, you will see how steps are defined in YAML, how built-in decision and conditional execution is the top feature of this product. We are able to mix subverb forks and external APIs in order to leverage only a couple of lines of development. I imagine this platform to be the future for quick integrations and connecting services. It's developer friendly. It can try and catch syntax support as well, and also has predicate for retries. Nonetheless, there is big data, machine learning inside the database. And that's brought to you and brought to us, developers and standard SQL practitioners with BigQuery ML, where you are able to predict, recommend, and forecast just by using a create model syntax. And the create model syntax is as simple as create table syntax. And in-house built-in models are there for you. Only a couple of them are featured on the slide, like k-means clustering for data segmentation, recommendation with matrix factorization, which is an awesome feature. You should try it out instantly. It just needs a table and the create model syntax. You can also create time series forecasts now. And nonetheless, if you have a TensorFlow model available by the external team, you are able to import that in BigQuery and run against tabular data, just by using a couple of lines of SQL syntaxes. A feature that I always missed in the cloud is a gateway for my API services. It should not be a load balancer, which is configurable as a balancer, but an API gateway where a single interface handles the SSL termination, where it handles the authentication, authorization of the routing. And behind this API gateway service, I'm able to connect either a cloud function, either a cloud run, or even a VM or a custom backend of my services. It's transparent. It's a one way to actually connect services for the front ends and the clients out there on the internet. This was mainly the products that this year arrived to Google Cloud Platform. In order to you to skill up on these topics, you are able to use Quick Lab platforms and check out the new tutorial center on the Google, where you have now thousands of content either put together by Google engineer or by us volunteers and contributors to this awesome world. Thank you for being here and watching what's new in this year in the cloud.
Thank you very much, Martin. That was very interesting. It's crazy to see how BigQuery has changed over the years, and also the exciting news around Cloud Run and this API gateway. I can't hardly wait to try it. I hope we got your attention and your minds working. So next we're going to start the tracks starting from 10:30. It's going to be a short little break for grab some coffee, and meet you. Make sure to join either the mobile or the cloud run, and have fun today.